So Grady Polcyn is literally, everything in the business, I pretty much copied it from Grady. So what's so awesome about the model that we have here at Family First Life and everything that we do is it's literally copy and paste. So there's a lot of successful people in the business. But whenever they say, hey, I was really, really successful at FFL, or I was really, really successful in the business, I'm like, that's awesome, except for you really just copied and pasted from somebody else. So that's essentially what I did with Grady, guys. On day one, he's always been in support of our team. He was in support of me as a new agent. Our website, everything that we have, everything that we learned from a marketing standpoint, a branding standpoint, a recruiting standpoint, I would ask Grady. I would call Grady, like, what do I do? He would tell me what to do. I'd be like, let me copy his website. Now people will come to me and they'll be like, Marcia, your website's so good. And I'm like, thank you. Obviously it's good. I don't tell them I just copied everything from Grady's website. But my point of this whole idea and having him on tonight, you guys, is because I want you guys to understand that nothing anybody is doing is special, right? I took it from Grady. I copied it from him. I hope all of you would just copy and paste everything that Grady did and I did, and then you do it your own and you make your own thing. So I'm super, super excited to have him on. One thing about him, guys, we love him, but he used to be way meaner than he is today. So be thankful for him, because I remember when I first started 4 years ago, brand new agent, you would go to the office. Grady, do you remember it? You go to the office and then like if you took a couple days off and then you came back, you'd be like, oh, hey, Grady. And he'd be like, who are you? And I'd be like, what do you mean? And I'd be like, we met like last week. I'm a new agent. He'd be like, no, I don't remember who you are. Because he wanted to show me that like you can't just take days off and not be. So he was hardcore, guys. He's still hardcore. If you look at what the company does as a whole, you guys, and what we've done. So if you look at our team, we've done 17 million in 2024. Grady Polcyn has done over $120 million of issue paid life insurance. If you look at just his team and what he has going on, guys, he is bigger just with his team than any other competing IMO that there is. So not saying insurance carrier, but anybody in our space that is a broker, that is an IMO, Grady could literally be his own. So GP, I'm very excited to have you. Guys, he's going to talk about tonight whatever he wants to, because he's the greatest of all time. So he can say whatever he wants, but make sure you guys have your notepads out, because we don't get to have him on. He's a busy guy. He has a huge team. And I want to make sure that anything he says, we really take in and try to apply it ASAP. I'm done. I promise, Grady. You can go.
You are incredible from many different things. But first, could you please do me a favor and hammer an MM in the chat below to show Marissa some love for how well she puts this together. And it's, you can tell how good a team is by the leader at the helm. And it's impressive to see how well this is orchestrated. Your event, your award ceremony, if you're not getting registered for this event, I don't know if she said it 13 or 17 times, but if you show up not registered, she'll have clippers in the side and she'll just shave your head. But it is I heard that over. I almost registered and I realized I'm speaking, and then I'm like, hold on, I'll talk to Jade. We'll get this done right. But no, I mean, Marissa, thank you so much for having me on. But this is about you guys. This is a call for you guys, for you to get better, for you to grow. And I'm going to do my absolute best to give you insights and value in regards to marketing, specifically marketing yourself and marketing in the climate which we live in, which is you guys are all insurance brokers and potentially insurance agency managers and future massive insurance agency owners. And that's the beauty of what we can do here at Family First Life with the insurance license at which we have, and what we can do here now in 2025. So if you have questions as I progress, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to talk about anything. But I have a few things I kind of want to cover. And then it's always good to, leave room for some Q&A, because I'll kind of go down a direction. But first, so, thank you for having me. Thank you, Marissa. I sold a ton of insurance. I've recruited thousands of people, and it's amazing what is possible when you put yourself out there. It's like, the fisherman with one hook in the ocean doesn't catch a lot of fish, but you look at the big fishing ships and they put like 20 hooks out there and they're dragging. I don't know how they manage to have like 20 hooks, but they're just really good at geometry, and it allows them to drag all these hooks with bait and worms and all the things, but they're catching more fish. And so for you guys, you've got to think about this. Am I buying enough leads to give myself a chance? Am I having enough conversations each and every day to potentially recruit my business? Am I following up with enough people to put options in front of me where I could grow something here? And I think that's really the differentiating factor, that we are all conditioned now in our world to be able to sell virtually, right? You can wear basketball shorts and a polo, and I have jeans on, but you can wear basketball shorts and a polo and sell virtually over Zoom. Or you can go to a nice office like Des does, and you have to then decide, am I going to keep dialing? Am I going to keep pushing myself forward in this new world? And so you see people that are these outliers, or these people that branch off and they'll go write 10, 20, 30 in a week. And you're like, well, how do they do it? They're just investing more in leads. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of our new agents will come in, and they're conditioned to think that I could just dip my toe in with $300, or I could dip my toe in with $500 or $1,000, and that's fine. But sometimes your first sale comes after your third lead order. But then now you've got all this experience that you can go back into your first and your second lead order and start to have some sales. Now that's the same thing that I want to kind of help you guys understand with marketing, is that as you're starting to build something here, and let me dig into that, is as a producer, you make money, and but you only make money when you sell. And the beauty with that is that how much can I sell? How much can I kill? What's the possibility here? But at the same standpoint, it's like you're an hourly employee. And, we talk about entrepreneurship, and we talk about business, and we talk about wanting to create long-term stable financial freedom and residual income. But the reality, though, comes to when you're not selling, you're not making money. And what I always preach to new agents is to not just think about what I can do, think about what I could do with a team, and what sort of business model could you grow, and how good could you get that people would want to work with you. It's apparent that Digna has taken 2024 in a chokehold and decided that she's going to make this year I'm not going to curse on this call, but she's going to take this year by the helm and start to go out there and have lots of conversations. Des is doing the same thing. Diego's doing the same thing. Dominic's doing the same thing. There's many people that started as producers that have now decided to become leaders of their business. And so, as I dig into this, I want you guys to all think, don't look at what other people have done and go, I could never do that. Because when I started this business, with 3 kids and no money and a maxed out credit card and barely enough room to buy some age leads of the CRM, I never foresaw a $120 million business. I didn't see that. Being dead serious, I wanted to get my wife out of her Volkswagen Touareg and get her into a Nissan Pathfinder. And then I wanted to get her Nissan Pathfinder into a Yukon XL. And I'll tell you, we got that Yukon XL in 6 months, and everything changed, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, we got more. The problem with getting a Yukon XL is she can fit more stuff in the back from Costco. And now all of a sudden I've got to find more place to put all this stuff from Costco. So we had to get a bigger house. And so these are the problems, right? So come back around, you sell a lot of insurance, you need to get a bigger house. But I digress. Now, the main thing I want you guys to understand, though, is that as you start to build this, what does that mean, Grady? That means that you guys need to decide, do I want to just be a producer? And raise your hand if you just want to be a producer, or raise your hand if you want to be a business owner. Because the reality, though, is that wanting to be a business owner allows you to say out loud and make the decision with confidence and clarity of what you're trying to accomplish. The challenge with most of us is we kind of wake up, we go through the day, we check our email, we make a few calls, we do some follow-ups, we have the appointments that are pre-booked sometimes, we make some dials, we make a few sales, and we don't put structure into place. And I think that for many of you, there's a great line I learned from Trey Honeycutt early on, is every day you should set a goal to take 2 people from not knowing about FFL to knowing about FFL. And if you set that goal, it's just 2 people. Does that mean 2 DMs on Instagram? Does that mean 2 messages in a group? Does that mean 2 follow-ups with old friends? And I would tell you, raise your hand if you've made a sale with us so far. Just hold it up proud. Hold it to the screen so I can see it. Like you're high-fiving me. Give me a high five if you've made a sale. Okay. So spoiler alert, and I appreciate all the 5s. Now, you have now today sold more insurance than pretty much everyone you know who doesn't have a life insurance license. And what that means is the majority of my business came as a result of people I knew, my warm market. And yes, there's this buzz around using TikTok reels, which Des does a great job. I'm not as cute as Des, so I can't do TikTok. Maybe I could, but I could bring my daughter. Vivian would come in. She'd be like, "Sell insurance, Daddy," and then there'd be there'd be a little dance or however TikTok works. They're shutting it down in 6 days anyway. So maybe Des will go back, or they're not. I don't know what they're doing. But there's all of this thought process around, I'm going to go, it's like leaving voicemails or sending emails. My emails are great, but they're not great for just client retention. But there's this thought process around, can I do work and just throw hooks out there and hope they come back? Now, the hooks we throw in recruiting can be YouTube videos, they can be TikTok reels, etc. But in the end, it's all going to rely on the phone. So for me, and when I got started, I said, who do I know that's ambitious and wants more out of life? Ambitious and wants more out of life. And I called them up and I said, listen, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I made $7,000 this week selling insurance. I just got started. It may or may not be for you, but if you got a few minutes, I've got a video I could show you where it kind of explains what it's all about. And if you like what you hear, I could put you on the phone with someone who can maybe explain a little bit better. And I did that like a couple hundred times. Did everybody get back to me? No. Did everybody join? Nope. Did everybody respond positively? Most, no. Did people go, I don't want to be a part of your thing, or I could never sell, or $1,000 on leads? I could never do that. Like, I got all kinds of pushback, but I've been fortunate, like many of you, to have a network of people that do like, trust, and respect you. They do look at you as a friend or someone. And I went to and that might have been the problem, guys. So for many of us, we start selling or we come from a place where we're actually comfortable. I was so uncomfortable financially when I started this business that I would have done anything to make it work. And some of us just kind of float right above that level forever and never truly actually get uncomfortable enough to make it happen, right? When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, we'll take action, right? The old dog sitting on the porch where it's just moaning on the porch. And guy walks up, says to the guy whose dog it is, he goes, why does the dog keep moaning? He goes, he's got a nail in his foot. Well, why doesn't he pull it out? Doesn't hurt bad enough, right? So the thought process is like, when is pain going to be so bad, or when are you going to set goals that are so big that you don't care what people think anymore? And it's not as though it's like insurance, right? When I go sell insurance to Betty and Bob, and I talk about how Janine is going to be hosed or screwed, or she's going to be left with this big bill. We use proper insurance selling words. But Janine's going to have this $15,000 bill. Do you want her to take that money that she's going to be wanting to raise her kids with, or do you want to get a small $80 a month policy to put in $5, $10, $15,000 to make sure that little Janine doesn't have that expense, right? With confidence selling insurance that as you communicate with your clients, you're leaving them better. They're guaranteed to get a check, God forbid, or when that worst day happens. Death and taxes, right? We know that from the movie Meet Joe Black, right? Joe dies pretty quick in the movie. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it for you. But in the reality, though, is if we know with confidence that our clients are going to be better off when we sell them insurance, why don't we know with confidence when we talk to our friends or people with ambition and desire for change, they're going to be better off working with us? Is my buddy who sells 3 houses a year and has a job at the electrical company better off doing that and frustrated and bitching to me about his PTO, and sorry for cussing, and or complaining about how he can't take a trip this past Christmas because he already used his PTO because he had to do something with his boy, like, is he better off hovering right above awful, or taking the leap? And it's on me. And now I've offered him to sell, and I could never do what you do. And I'm like, dude, I didn't sell my first 9 appointments, like in person, booked appointments, didn't close them. Like, can anybody go through that? Yes. And so that's really the big thing that I always try to start calls with, is help people understand, like, if you haven't burned the ships, Christopher Columbus, and decided that you're not going to go back to the life that you want, this will be a short-lived experience you have. As awesome as Marissa is, and as energetic as she is, and her zest for life has got me on the edge of my seat, and how passionate your leaders, whoever's recruited you into this, have told you how incredible this business is. If you haven't sold yourself to your future, then you're going to keep repeating your past. There's no possible way that you can get out of the rut you're in, because I was in it. I was 34, broke. My wife was a registered nurse, making more money than me as a nurse, as the man and provider of our household. And I made excuses that I deserved to watch football with my buddies and play on a softball team, and all the nonsense that you justify your existence because it makes you feel good because it's who you are, versus being honest and selling myself on the future that I could have. And I never saw a business model like this. And so as I continue to like kind of, I feel as though in recruiting, right, in marketing, you've got to sell yourself on how incredible this actually is before you can truly trust yourself to go sell others. And I don't think anything like I've recruited tons of people, and I want you to have this confidence, but you can't, and this is the hard part about recruiting and marketing, you can't decide if they're going to do it, right? You can't decide if they're going to give up their excuses, if they're going to defend their bad habits, if they're going to allow negativity to chirp in their ear 24/7, 365, and they don't listen to positive stuff. They don't listen to the Jim Rohns and the Brian Tracy's and the Darren Hardys and these things that wash out the negativity in their brain. I got hundreds of books that I've read 11 pages of, but I'll tell you, those 11 pages have made me a better man. And all those things add up to like me deciding that I'm going to choose to get better. And so, but I'll tell you, like it, so for you, you can go, well, I don't want to talk to Jennifer about it, or I don't want to talk to Cameron about it. I don't want to talk to my buddy about it because he may not want to do it, or he might judge me or something, or I don't have enough success yet. Okay. Like, I get it. Well, why don't you have some success? You know, the best recruiting tool, being at the top of the leaderboard. That was one of the best recruiting tools for me. I came in here and I was like, okay, well, I got to get that Yukon XL because we got to have more room for Costco. So I'm going to have to go sell a bunch. And I started selling, sold 14, sold 30. And then once I hit 30, I never looked back. It was 30 to 40 forever. And so for you, if you do want to build a team, if you want to get out of the rat race of life, if you want to get out of the complacency at which maybe your family is from, or maybe your friends are from, maybe the small town you grew up in, it's just kind of a ho-hum town and that nobody does much and everybody's accepted average, and you're over that. You get around these big dreamers and these big thinkers and these people that have a vision for themselves, and you go, I want this. Well, how you do it is you go sell. That is the number one barometer for, are you making it happen in this business or not? And if you're under 10, you're kind of part-time. If you're under 5, you haven't started. If you're over 15, why aren't you at 20 yet? If you're at 20, why aren't you at 30 yet? If you're at 30, let's get to work and let's keep going. But that's this business. And so, I can go in on these things, but I want to touch on some specific marketing things that Marissa wanted me to talk about. And then we can do some questions or whatever fits you. But as you progress in this business, you've got to understand, and I've used this term many times, is Family First Life, our parent company, our company, is an IMO, which an IMO stands for Insurance Marketing Organization. Essentially, we're a sales organization or a team, and that being all being considered is what we do as a team, we benefit as a team, right? I was talking to someone today and I was trying to explain to her about why we're such a great company to partner with, because being the number one IMO, the number one sales team with every carrier we work with, creates some favor for us, right? Whether it's underwriting, trying to get a big policy pushed through. Hey, this company writes a lot of good business. Maybe we can move them from standard to standard plus. Maybe we can move them from table A to standard, right? That we can potentially do something here. And contracting, someone's got some blemishes in their background. Well, this company traditionally puts in lots and lots of really good, high quality producing agents. Let's bring in, let's allow them to, write a guaranteed letter and bring this person in. Where if you're a brand new agency or you don't have that favor. That's the beauty you guys have. When I joined, we were doing 80 million a year as a company. This year, we're going to do nearly $600 million. 600. And when I say that number, I need you to understand what that number actually means. That number means that's a commission number. That's issue paid payments that Betty's and Bob's and Dolores's and Beatrice's and Leroy's across the country have said, you know what? I want this number to come out of my bank account every single month to pay for insurance. 600 million. I mean, I'm throwing numbers here, but it's got to be billions and billions and billions of dollars of actual life insurance premium. Like our company, like single-handedly, granted, I hope none of our clients ever die, but we could adjust the economy if something happened to all of our clients. Like that's the craziness of what we've been able to do as a group together. And so for you understanding that you're an IMO, you are, well, I didn't say it, but you are your own IMO. You are your own insurance marketing organization. I know that Digna takes pride in her team name. I know Des takes pride in her team name. I know Dom takes pride in his team name. These are the pillars of which you start. I know Marissa takes pride in her team name. I take pride in FFL America. I take pride in my team name, right? But as you progress, you look to start to build something to create pillars around, right? And some simple ways, we've used websites like Wix to build a simple landing page where you can recruit agents to. We use an email service called Aweber, which is a very simple service. And I always try to talk about like every text message gets opened, every email gets acknowledged. And one of the ways where you can long-term drip on people is using email. And in 2025, when I'm recruiting someone or having a conversation, two things I'm really trying to get: their phone number, or I mean, if I'm having a conversation with them, I either have their phone number or we're messaging on like a social media service, and I'm trying to get their phone number and then their email. Because I set up long-term drips where I'm sending out leaderboards, training calls, testimonials of our company. Because when you're recruiting someone into this business, when you're sharing with them what we have here and what we can do here, most of the time, everybody's doing something else, right? There's a great line about recruiting. If you're not actively being recruited, you're probably not doing something worth recruiting you. You're not making enough waves or making enough noise or trying to, or noticeable enough. However, at the same standpoint, the best people are already working somewhere else. So you've got to go show them an opportunity about what we have that's better. Is it our high comp? Is it our bonus program? Is it our warm buyer leads? Is it our telesales proven telesales system? Is it our producer bonus, our VP bonus? Is it is it our lead center, right? Which of these things resonates with someone's pain that they have, and what can we introduce them to here and show them how we can solve their problem? And that the sheer volume of what we've done here, as I got a text from Sean this morning, and I'm not sure if Marissa shared this with you, but I will share it with you real quick. We had our biggest week in company history in submitted apps. This week, we wrote 17,237 applications, best week in last 11 years. That's freaking amazing. So to hear that, and we had our best week with America ever and 5 other carrier partners, our best week ever in January. I can't imagine what we're going to do in February. And in March, we could do 60, 70 million in March. So
Hey, Greg,
go ahead.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You were talking about the email drip. How long, because I think I remember you saying this about Andrew. How long did you watch Andrew Taylor's marketing before you joined his team?
3 years.
So that's why it's important to start maybe before you're ready marketing yourself.
Correct. So putting together, if you're going to be here, and we talk about this a lot of times in business or as new business owners, if you were a client of you, how would you want to be treated? If you were an agent who works with you, how would you want to be treated? Are you getting texts back? Are you getting proper responses? Are you getting calls back? Are you from a client standpoint, are you sending thank you cards? Wiley Hawkins, I always throw this out. Any client over $100, he sends flowers to from 1-800-Flowers.com. Just loaded up some money. And any client he has over $100, he sends flowers to. And he says his persistency is like 96%. And he's like, why wouldn't I spend the $50 to send some flowers when it's a $1,200 policy? And I'm like, Wiley, been doing this a while. I've never heard that. That's a great, we had a guy who used to send brownies, but the flowers, it elevates it a little bit, right? Maybe they're trying to watch the sugar, but yes. So from an email standpoint, it's like, every time I'm communicating with someone, I'm thinking that it's not now, it's at some point they're going to join me. I'm going to create the best platform. I'm going to have the most passion. I'm going to create the best resources. I'm going to lead by example from a sales standpoint. I'm going to lead by example from a recruiting standpoint. I'm going to develop myself. I'm going to embark as many challenges I possibly can. So that way, when they have challenges, I'm going to have answers to help them solve them. And as you do this, your energy creates energy. Positive people recruit positive people. And so that's one of the things where email comes into play. So as you start this, and granted, if you haven't sold a policy yet, don't go down this tangent just yet. Buy some leads. But if you're producing and you have big goals to build something, creating an email list, creating a website, starting to create some sort of branding on social media, getting all of your assets on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, if it's still around in a week. Sorry, Des. And putting yourself in a position where you are building something, right? My first business was Polcyn Financial. And then when I hit senior sales manager, it became FFL America, and Polcyn Financial just lives out there in the ethosphere, but it's FFL America. And then now I kind of branding the America agency to kind of just create a bigger, broader stroking brush, like the Inspire Group, right? You just kind of create a broad stroking brush. And so the thing for you guys is, what could you start to create? Is it Tim Green? Is it Green Financial? Is it, well, what's Digna's is Digna De Leon Morris, and it's Nationwide Finance. What is it? Nationwide.
It's a lot, Grady. Nationwide financial firm.
Which, if any of you Tom Cruise fans, if you hear the word firm, you think about that movie from back in the day, and you go, "Oh, that's a serious operation right there." You don't mess with firms, because they're better than groups. They're bigger than they're a firm, right? So good job, Digna. But but you have levity around it, guys. Like, but the main thing to think about is, can you start, right? And like John Wetmore would talk about, let's get one a week. Let's get one new writer a week, or one new writer a month, right? Because anything less than one is zero, right? So if we put yourself in a position to go for one, is it one a week? Is it one a day? Is it one a month? It can't be one a year, because we got to raise your standards. But can you get one new person in class a week? Can you have 2 conversations a day, which 7 is 14 in a week? Can that whittle down to 5, 7 into class, and one person coming out of class going to contracting? Can you repeat that process? Because what happens is, as you cast this net and you have these conversations, you're going to put people into your world that are going to see you producing and see you working, and they go, "I like the way that person behaves. I like the way that person thinks." And so, there's catalogs of marketing things I can dig into. Is there anyone has any like specific questions about anything specifically?
Yeah, great. I have a question. I have a mindset question. So a lot of times when you're talking about what you're doing, or maybe you're uncomfortable, so you post it on social media, and then somebody's like, "That's not real. It's too good to be true." Or you have family and friends that are in your ear, and they're like, "Oh, you're still doing the insurance thing." What did you do when you first started your journey to building a team, and there was, negative talk or people that were saying things to you? How did you block them and just keep going?
So, phenomenal question. As you're building both muscles, is the old story used to say, but in your business, you should be doing 2 things all the time: making sales and having recruiting conversations. And the 1B of having recruiting conversations is talking to agents you've already recruited. So anytime that either world was in disarray, I'm getting crap from recruits, or my family and friends are giving me some noise, or people are, saying things, or I'm not able to convert a few agents that I've had conversations with. I'd focus on selling, and I would just go in the home, and I'd give Betty the best, presentation I could, and I'd give Bob, and I'd door knock the 3 no-shows from earlier in the week, and I'd do everything I could to inundate myself with sales opportunities, and I'd make sales. And guess what happens? Your emotions rise, you feel good, serotonin pay off, like all these things. And then I go back to recruiting, and like, you have these 2 cups that you keep filling that have little holes on the bottom that are constantly draining, that if you just keep filling them, right? It's just, it's like a science project here, but just keep filling. You have to keep filling your sales cup and your recruiting cup, and sales cup and recruiting cup. If you focus too much over here, sales cup's going to go down. And then you got to fill the sales cup up. And then if you're focused too much on sales, your recruiting cup's going down. So like, I talk to a lot of guys, people that sell 70, 80, 90, 100,000 a month. I respect the heck out of them. I could never do that, because I wanted to sell 30 to 40 and build an empire. I only have so much time in a day. I got 4 kids. I got a wife. My kids got soccer. I got all kinds of things I'm juggling. And, 60, 80 hours a week is about my max capacity I could use for selling and building. And then I got a life, on the edges of my life. And so for you guys, it's figuring out, what do you want to focus on? And if it is straight sales, then just sell your face off. Get your gold jacket. Make $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million a year, right? If you're good with your finances, you can go sell $1 million, $2 million a year. Keep a bunch of your money, invest it appropriately, build yourself up a massive nest egg, and follow the rule of 7 and live off a couple $100,000 for the rest of your life, right? Go crush it. But I didn't have that. I didn't have that one. I personally foresaw myself potentially building something, and it evolved into something epic. And so you've got to find out, how fast can you get to your 10K a week? And then how much time can you spend the rest of it recruiting and having conversations, and then keep filling those cups, because you're going to get negativity. You're going to have doubt. You're going to have people that are going to say stuff. That's just what they do. Guess what? They always say stuff and they never accomplish shit. That's just most people, right? Anyone I thought was cool in high school is like, I think they're still working at Blockbuster and all the Blockbusters have shut down. Like this is just life. And so as soon as you stop caring what people think, the sooner you're going to put yourself in a position where you have freedom, right? What's the famous Warren Buffett quote? It's, if you let people control you with their words, you're now giving them power over you. And I've quickly put myself in a position through 11 pages a day of some book, but in the situation thinking that I have to, I rule my domain. I control my future. I decide the outcome. I get to decide what's going to happen here. And it might not end up exactly where I want, or it might not happen as fast as I want, but I know with certainty it's my decision. And that's really where I would empathize and hope for all of you out there, is that you take these calls as permission to go work as hard as you've ever worked. I say this often. It is okay to be the most ambitious person in your family. It is okay to be the most ambitious person in your friend group. It's okay. Like, there's got to be someone who breaks the mold. There's got to be someone that people point at and go, hey, man, good job. Hey, man, wow, what an example you are for the other people around. Hey, man, you know, or hey, gal, or hey, girl, you know, we got to be to unisex here. But at the same standpoint, it's putting yourself in a position where you can do that. And I believe with certainty, Marissa, that this is home for people that want to make big things happen.
Wow, Grady, that was insane. You sound like straight out of one of those books, to be honest. Like, that was really good.
11 pages.
Okay. If people are on this call and they're like, all right, I need legit, tangible things, actionable things I'm going to do tomorrow when I wake up so that I can start marketing and start recruiting. What are 3 things they can do, like, boom, tomorrow morning, like specific?
Okay, well, first, but in that vein, I built a website for convention last year. I went heavy into marketing, and then I did another training on it at some point where I expanded on it. If you want a lot of my resources and stuff, fflamerica.com/grow, GROW. There's a bunch of, like, you know, the link to Aweber, the link to Wix, the link to different stuff. And there's a bunch of kind of great mindset marketing, and it's page says marketing 101. And so that's a good place to start. But
okay, step 1, go to the website.
I would start there. That would be step 1, go to the website. Step 2, I would open an Aweber account. And step 3 and 3B, I would start adding people to the list, and I would send a leaderboard making yourself look good. Now, one thing is, if you're in the top 20, grab Marissa's leaderboard and put a little highlight or circle around your name and send it out. Now, if you're not on Marissa's top 20 leaderboard, I would ask her for a previous leaderboard that maybe you were on, or you have access to these, and then send it out and say, hey, great to connect with you. As you've seen, we're crushing it over here at my insurance agency. As you can see, I'm on the leaderboard. We're looking to add a few more agents this week. If anything interests you, shoot me a call back or respond to this email. But the main thing is, it's passive, right? We've probably washed through 100,000 emails on my email list. And now there's about 32,000 people on there, of which like 60% still open. I don't have 20,000 agents. I got 1,200. Grateful. But there's that math means that 1,800 and 18,200 are watching. And they're waiting for the moment when the pain has gotten enough that they're pulling the nail and they reach out and they want to have a conversation. And that's my passion for you guys, is that your story is all unique to you, but the people that are going to be attracted to you are people that are going to be like you. People that you like to work with generally are people that are like you. And as you progress in this business, telling your story, like if you get on my email list, you'll see pictures of my kids. You'll hear stories about me dealing with clients. You'll hear stories about all kinds of stuff. And I tell little stories, and it's very like simple for people to resonate and go, I mean, if I was in sales, that makes a lot of sense. And that's really what the goal is for you, for Dominic and for John and for Randall and for Tim and for Haley, for you to feel like you can share your message because of what you're going through in this business and you want to express it to people. I'm not trying to hide how hard it is. It's hard, but this hard is so much better than the other hard of PTO and selling 3 houses a year and hoping that I get a big real estate listing and I get a big commission and then I can maybe pay off that credit card, right? How about you look at this business model where if we buy more leads, we produce more, right? It's a pretty incredible scale that we can that has been created here for us that anyone can step into and start to make money. And that's the story I try to tell each and every day of email.
Grady, any circumstance that could happen in the world that would cause you to miss annual convention?
I mean, I would have to have Chantel would have to be pregnant, having a baby on Thursday, and she's not pregnant. So I'm not missing it. Because if we have another baby, she's got some explaining
That
to
would be
do.
the only thing.
No, yeah, we'd have to be having a baby. That would have to be it.
What if there was like an alien abduction or something?
I mean, they're probably not going to Dallas. There's a lot of guns in Dallas. If there was
Okay.
an alien abduction, I'd probably go to Dallas.
Okay, so what has annual convention? Because there's still going to be people that are on the fence about it, and they're like, it can't be really as good as they say it's going to be.
Oh my God.
You
I
talk
can't
about
even.
some of the biggest lessons that you have learned from annual convention.
So my first convention changed my life. So if you've been to one and you're thinking about not going, I'm surprised you're still here. And maybe you're having a baby. That might be what's happening. But if you have never been to one and you're thinking about not going, being honest, the likelihood of you being here in 6 months is like under 3%. And I wouldn't bet on yourself as being the 3% because you're already making bad decisions right now by not choosing to go to convention. So let's pretend that didn't happen. And let's talk about you going to convention. So my first convention, I learned everything I needed to learn to go from 8,000 in production to 30 my next month. I learned how to overcome objections. I learned lead sources. I gained incredible confidence. I learned about annuities. I learned about IULs. I networked with so many people that that's the beauty of this too. You got a great team here, but sometimes maybe it's fun having other conversations or it's very powerful. I was able to then, from my networking I made at convention, when I would go make a presentation and I wasn't making sales, the people that I've been asking for coaching were great and all, and they'd give me feedback, but it's like that father mother, parenting dichotomy. I would go ask this person and they tell me and it just kind of didn't work. So I went and asked these other group of people, hey man, I keep getting serious. And they'd tell me something totally different. It was still in the same lines, but it was different. And when I tried those words, boom, all my issues started eradicated because it was kind of someone else that I could trust. Now that's one part of it, right? I would also say one of the most important lines is that there's no guarantee that attending convention, you will come out of it and be successful. But I will guarantee you that every successful person in Family First Life will be at convention. There's got to be a reason for that. And so there's so much power in being in a room with thousands of people that all bleed the same blood and breathe the same air and have the same goals and are focused on the same things that you are, that to give yourself the greatest shot at this working out for you, because it's your choice. You chose to be on this call. You're going to choose to buy leads tomorrow. You're going to choose to dial the phone. It's all choice. And while you're already making good choices by joining us here and having leads and picking Marissa as your mentor, all great choices. Choose one more choice and make a great choice and join us at convention. Heck, one meal's free. If money's an issue, come find me. I'll get you a couple more meals. Marissa's buying dinner Thursday night. I'll help you out a couple other nights. Don't let money be the issue, because guess what? Between now and then, you could sell a bunch of policies and make way more money. And that's also your choice, to sell or not to sell. And so that's really,
Okay.
I mean, Marissa, it is a life-changing event.
Last question, because it's my favorite game. Would you rather? Okay. So if you're a new agent and you only had $300 in your account, maybe less, and you didn't make your car payment yet for the month, would you spend the money on a flight to go to convention, or would you make your car payment? Serious.
Oh,
No joking around.
I mean, if it was today, I'd buy leads and then I'd be able to do both. If it was Wednesday before convention, I would go to convention and get the answers to the skills and help me develop myself. The car will be there. They'll wait 90 days before they'll even start calling you. They'll just tack on a $4 late payment. Don't look at it. I like when you ask car payment, but it was always like, saving $1,100 or paying your rent. Yes, you pay your rent. Obviously it's important, But if you don't have the money next month, nothing's going to change. Picking up more shifts isn't going to change. You have to develop the skills. Now, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in this business, you got to decide, do we want to evolve your mind? Do you want to seek coaching from great entrepreneurs? Have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People? Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Have you read The Greatest Salesman in the World? Have you read The Richest Man in Babylon? Have you read, have you evolved your brain to think bigger? Because I guarantee you the people I grew up didn't think big. The people I was around in my younger years were not big thinkers. Where's the next party? Where can we get in trouble? What's happening tonight? It's Monday. Why we got to go out every night, right? The people that most of us surround ourselves early in life, as I look at a young ambitious team, lack the bigger picture drive, right? And I would preach to you from no pulpit, but preach to you out of passion that if you choose, it is your choice to make the choice of joining us at convention, you will come out of there on Sunday going, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life, because you're going to learn the things you need to learn. It's like a puzzle, right? You ever do puzzles, Marissa?
Yeah, I do puzzles like literally every day.
Okay. Well, when you get a big 1,000 or 2,000 piece puzzle, and all of a sudden you're getting close to the end and you're like, where the hell are those other like 7 pieces? And it's always like an eye or like an important piece. And you're like, I can't even fake this because I'm missing. That's what convention is. Convention is those 7 missing pieces of the puzzle that allow you to put them in and get that payoff when you push it in and get that last puzzle piece pop. That's convention. And I say that with so much seriousness because every year I come out of it better. Every year the company grows. Every year the people who choose to grow. Now you have to decide though, is this my year to get better? Am I done playing small? Am I done playing average? Am I done with the excuses? Because of everybody, I know the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle says top 20 people produce 80% of the volume and 80 people produce 20% of the volume. And there happens to be 100 of us on here. So there's 80 of you that are thinkers and you're over analyzers and you're hypothesizers and you're what ifizers and you're maybeizers. And if you just stop izing and just get your ticket to convention, the answers are there. And guess, it's like $40. Like we don't like, there's no like back in the day, you could like, there's a lot of events out there where you can sell tickets to things and get paid an affiliate commission. That's not what we're doing here. I think it's like $49. Like that's just to help cover the $7 million that corporate pays for bringing in this massive event, massive show, all the guest trainers, everything that comes with it. So, we've covered that to no end, but there's no reason to miss it. If this is part of your future in 2025, that's why we do it at the beginning of the year, to get you educated, get you up to speed, help you connect with other people, and give you all the tools you need to go crush it and make this the best year of your life. So.
Grady, thank you so much for your help. I didn't know you were a puzzler, but now I'm going to go buy the same puzzle, one for each of us, and then we're going to see who does it faster. And if I do the puzzle faster, you have to give the team some leads. Deal?
Deal.
Okay. Grady, thank you so much. That was awesome, guys. Hopefully you took notes on all of his steps. Grady, like I said, we could not be more honored to have you in your time tonight. We're excited to see you at our award ceremony. Make sure you guys get registered, and we're excited to see you at convention. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Marissa.
Have a good night, guys.